Hello, welcome. This is Tales from Another Broken Home. My name is Judd. Judd GES-AREBENT. Tales from Another Broken Home is the result of my life experiences since first meeting the ex back in 2011 to present day. This is to give you background information before we get to the corruption, the illegality of the judges and other organisations involved in the secret family courts. Names have been changed. I have genuine fear for the future of our children. This video is about meeting the family. This is Lila, my ex. When we first began talking, Lila told me about her abusive past relationships and how bad things had been for her and her child. I felt sympathy for her, as one of my sisters has been through this. What I didn't know then, but certainly do now, is that Lila was a habitual liar and a narcissist. This is Eve, Lila's daughter, from a previous abusive relationship. When I first met Eve, she was 4 and seemed to have no boundaries from Lila. Eve and I developed a strong bond early on, and this was encouraged by Lila. When we all moved in together, I created a settled routine for Eve, as up to this point in her life she had already lived at 10 addresses and had many come and go father figures, and to this day remains the most stable part of Eve's life. This is Bex, our eldest. The day I found out Lila was pregnant, I was over the moon and petrified at the same time, but I knew then that I was always going to be there. This is Bob, our youngest. I missed out on so much of his young life. First steps, first words, as he was only 13 months old when Lila left. The day she left was also the day before Bex's 4th birthday. Turns out, Lila had other plans about me always being there. This is my mum and dad. They raised myself and my 3 sisters. My mother and father have always been dedicated parents and grandparents. My father and Lila have not spoke a word to each other since November 2011. My father caught on to Lila's dishonesty very early on, whereas I was blinded by what I believed to be love. My mother spoke to Lila throughout the entire relationship. I have 3 sisters, all younger than me. This is Anne. Anne and Lila were friends from the beginning of our relationship. Anne invited Lila to her birthday party a month into our relationship. Lila used to go to Anne's house whilst I went to see my parents with the children. This was Lila's choice. Anne has 2 children. This is Faye. Although Faye and Lila were not as close as Anne and Lila, they still spoke throughout the relationship. Faye spent a lot of time with her then boyfriend, now husband, and she wasn't around as much because she spent a lot of her time at her partner's. She did come over, however, to help with the DIY things around the house, as her and her husband are both plumbers. This is Lexi. Lexi and Lila started off close, and Lexi used to stay at our house quite a lot at the beginning of the relationship. A few months after Bex was born, Lexi stayed over with her son. Lila had gone out on the town, and Lexi sat up with me waiting for her to come back. When Lila returned home, extremely drunk, and I suspected coked up, around 2 AM, She slammed all 3 doors on the way through to the sitting room, then sat on the arm of the chair next to me. I asked her if there was any need to slam the doors as the children were in bed. Lila's response to this very simple question was to punch me in the face, storm off to the bedroom, slamming all 3 doors again. Lexi, who had just sat there and witnessed all these events unfolding, was furious. I had to talk Lexi down, as she wanted to go upstairs and drag her out of bed. I did say to Lexi it was only the alcohol. Lexi did not stay over again, but for my sake she remained civil throughout the relationship to Lila.
This is Ben, Lexi's son. Ben is the eldest child in the family. When Ben and Eve first met, they became great friends. In fact, Ben is brilliant with all his cousins. Ben stayed over us most weekends for the first couple of years, but one Saturday morning changed all that. Lila and a friend of hers had been drinking till the early hours of that morning. I had gone to work. Lila had gone off on one during the day, screaming at the children as she had a hangover. This really upset Ben. Ben is not easily upset. From that day on, Ben only ever stayed over us if he knew that I was going to be there for the entire time. I would like to say thanks to my wonderful family who have supported me through these troubled times. I know none of this has been easy on them, as we are such a close family. What hurts one of us hurts us all. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I love you. To the judges, I used to believe that the courts were there to use law. Unfortunately, my only experience with this system has shown me your corruption and your abuse of law and power. You have given me no choice, nowhere to turn, as my voice was refused to be heard. With no faith in the secret family court system, I will show your abuse and corruption of the system and your disregard to the welfare of children. To Lila, I'm going to show what life was like when I fell in love with the village bike. The abuse, manipulation, alcohol and coke. That our relationship was just a joke. I fear for the future of our children. You know, the ones you tried to frighten into not having a relationship with their dad. That is something that nobody should do. That's really bad. You live your life telling lies. The truth is something you despise. So keep an eye out for the next Tales from Another Broken Home, where I shall show the lies and the corruption from the beginning to the end. So please leave a thumbs up for this edition and share this story, as I'm sure others can relate. Consider subscribing. I am Judd GES-AREBENT, signing off and sending my love to Bex and Bob.